Hey, what's up everyone, this is Portugal here today in my parents' kitchen, and today, cooking with John!
No.
Just kidding, today we're going to learn how to make an ant nest for yourself, a DIY ant nest. So, we're going to need some paper, some olive oil or plant oil, some plaster, which is what we'll be making the nest out of. Now, this is called plaster of Paris, or gypsum. In Portuguese is gesso. Alright? So we'll keep that. Then we're going to need a mixing bowl, a mixing instrument, like a screwdriver. And we're going to need a plastic container like this Tupperware. Now, you want the Tupperware to be the size of the nest you're going to be making, because this will be the mold for the nest we're going to be making. So first of all, over here, we want to wash whatever it is of plastic that we're using with some soap, and we want to wash it thoroughly, because any particles or debris that is still in there might affect the casting and make it very hard to pull it off when we're done. Okay, so you just wash that off. Wash your own hands and the container, and then you just grab some paper and you dry it off inside and outside. Now, we do not want the plaster to stick to the plastic, and for that we're going to need a little bit of oil. Now, any greasy substance should do the trick, but it's a cleaner way to do it with either olive oil or some plant oil, cooking oil. So just put a little bit in there, right? Take a little bit of paper, as you do with your pans for grilling instead of frying, and then you just want to make a little bit of a square and smother it all throughout the container. Make sure the walls are completely covered in it, and also make sure you do not leave too much behind, as that will leave ugly markings on the plaster. Alright, there you go. You can barely see it, but if you pay attention you see the glittering, the shining of the grease on the plastic. Now you want to whip up a batch of, let's put that aside, of plaster, and for that this cup is contains basically the same volume as this plastic container, and I've measured it out using water just to be sure not to make way too much plaster, because that will be a waste. So you fill it up and you add some water as you mix it in. Make sure not to add too much water, or it will take a very long time to actually settle down and dry out. So what you want is a toothpaste consistency. So let's mix that up. That is still too solid. I can still fill some chunks in there. A little bit more water, and some mixing around should do the trick. Now this is of perfect consistency. As you can see, it sticks to the screwdriver and it does not fall off very quickly. Though, you know, you've put in the cup full of plaster, now you've got only half a cup, so you got to add some more in order to have enough for the block of plaster we're going to create here. So there you go, some more plaster. there we go, toothpaste consistency. And now what you're going to do is take this and then drop it. It will make sort of a blob, you know, it won't spread on its own. And that's what we want, because that makes us sure that the consistency is right. Right? To spread it around, you just bounce it up and down, make a lot of noise, annoy everyone in the house, and make sure it's flat. Alright? Now, as you can see, we have not added nearly enough. So, but we still have a lot more here to add. We should have just enough and just the right amount of it. So let's add a little more. Let's make a lot of noise. Now we just scrap a little bit of leftovers, and we can top it off like that. Now let's not let that slide over the edge. Bounce it up and down. Now as you can see, let me put it back there, never mind. As you can see, we have, can you film it from the side? We have almost 2 fingers of height, and that should be enough for us to dig some nest chambers and then top it off, and everything should be still solid. So now let's let it off to dry out, and we'll come back in like half an hour. That should be enough for plaster to dry out, because we do not want it to dry out completely since we're going to carve it. And after that we'll let it dry for 24 hours, and then it should be done. So I'll see you in half an hour, and this will be drying out. Now do remember to wash everything off before the plaster dries, or everyone that lives with you is going to be very upset at you, so remember that. So now you've got this solid block, which with a little bit of shaking and banging on the table, you've got out of the plastic container. That plastic container should be cleaned, and then it should be good to use again with food or whatever. Now we want to design here the nest you're going to be drilling, so that you don't forget where everything goes. This is a pretty simple one, and now only going to be doing 1 chamber and 1 water reservoir. Never forget your water reservoir should never be connected to the chambers where your ants are going to be living in. So right here should be a water reservoir, like long like that, and then I'm going to make a little bit of a chamber out here, and like that, and maybe it can come in and then go out again like that. That should be, now that should give some topography on the horizontal side, and then you want to drill with different variations of depth, so that you give them some dynamism in the nest and more places to rest. That will create a better gradient of moisture and temperature. As you can see now, I've done all the carving that needed to be done. I smoothed it all the surfaces out with my finger and a pencil, and I've drilled a hole that fits perfectly the medium size of tubing that I use for my ants. So let's get on with the carving. So allow me to explain what I did and what you saw me doing. So first of all, I finished carving the drawing I made, and I made a hole here, which is just perfect to snugly fit in this tube, which we'll put a little later. Now I've also smoothed out every surface with my finger after cleaning off all the dust with the paintbrush. Now this should be smooth enough for the ants to feel comfortable in, and for it to be aesthetically pleasing. Now also, we need the cover, right? So I cut off, as you saw, a little piece of acrylic, and I kind of cleaned it, but not very well, because yeah, that's the best I could do. And I've also made a hole right there I just used the same bit I used to drill this, and I just made a hole. That hole matches up with the watering part of the system, and this covers it up. Now to keep this in place, we would normally use some silicone, some hot glue or some bully tack, but since this is a very small setup and I want it to be moved out of very quickly, I want it to be easy to remove the cover and to wash it off. So what I'm going to be using, because it's very practical, are some rubber bands, right? So I'll just place some in like that. Now then, you know, fix them, align them off camera because that takes a little bit of time. And there you go. Oh, Jesus. Now, let's leave that in there. Alright. Just like that. Let's push that off to the side. And I'll align them later. Now, this is proper for small colony, so I use the medium size of tubing so that I can then attach either the large one or the small one, because they'll fit in every single one of them. Now, as you can see, it takes a little bit of strength to pull it in, and now no ant will be able to either sneak along the sides or either way, you know, push it out, but that's almost impossible for an ant. Now there you go. Now it sits on top of the rubber bands and this should connect to the outworld. Let's go downstairs and let's make a quick time lapse of some ants moving in.